Welcome into tomorrow. I'm Dave Graveline. We are broadcasting from New York City this week, bringing you highlights from Innovate. That's a very cool conference. Last year it was in Phoenix. This year it's here in New York City, combined with another event that we're also covering for you, and that is CES Unveiled. It's the official press preview for the big CES coming up in January, where, if you will, we launch our 21st year on the air. So enjoy these highlights, but know that all 3 hours of this week's show are available for you at intotomorrow.com, and of course on your favorite radio station as well. If you don't get our broadcast, be sure to sign up for our free podcasts, including our video podcast, at the brand new intotomorrow.com. Meantime, enjoy some highlights from Innovate and CES Unveiled.
Innovate is a series of meetings and conferences that really bring together our membership and arm them with a lot of experts and what they're saying about the future of the customers, the products that we should be developing, and it really helps us reflect and take a look at exactly what is happening in our industry and make sure we're aligned properly.
One of my favorite new things, a tidal wave that no one's really seeing coming, is wearable personal health trackers, not just step counters like Fitbits, but much more scientific in detail stuff that checks our blood oxygen and insulin levels and sunlight exposure. These are things that we could never measure before except through a doctor once a year or as needed. And now we're able to monitor our bodies all the time. It's a huge, huge revolution, and it's just getting underway.
Smart home technology, everyone is fascinated by this stuff. And I think in the coming year, we're going to see greater adoption, substantially greater adoption. But the adjunct to that is another one of the topics we talked about, which is the city of tomorrow, the smart city. And I think cities need to be doing dramatically more than they're currently doing to push ahead. And all of the same technologies we're looking at for smart homes could really dramatically help out the city, the municipality itself.
Technology is what drives the innovation, which drives the products. So that's moving at lightning speed. And we just had a session here with Gary on innovation and where it comes from and within our own company, but there's so much of it now. It's just like incredible. From when I first started, innovators and inventors were welcome. Now it is every loft in San Francisco has got 100 innovators in it. So it's a wonderful time right now.
Well, Kickbox was a program created at Adobe internally for our own innovation process in order to drive innovation forward. And of course, Adobe has a rich 30-year history of innovating. But this was taking what we had learned over those 30 years and mixing it with crazy stuff that I had learned in the startup world, and putting it in a blender and hitting puree. And so taking all of that great Adobe knowledge and kind of putting it with some crazy, for me, ended up in this rather unusual innovation process that we've now open sourced so that people can download it and go and do the innovation process that Adobe uses internally inside their own organizations, which is a lot of fun.
I am a family doctor, and so I would get phone calls late at night at like 3 a.m. and then it would be hard for me to get back to sleep. And so my husband suggested, well, you should listen to this kind of music that helps you fall asleep faster. It has background sounds that, kind of put you into trance and everything. So there really wasn't any headphones comfortable enough for me to use in bed. And so we decided to, sit down one night with some soldering iron and some like needle and thread. And here we made our own. We put very, very thin speakers inside of a soft and stretchy headband, and sold out very quickly. And so everything has just kind of snowballed from there.
Our mission is all about innovation. And wherever innovation is, we want to defend it, we want to fight for it. And we can't take, just like any other freedom we enjoy, you can't take it for granted. I think that we often overlook the fact that this stuff is changing the world, right? Think about if you are disabled, physically disabled in some way. You have a ride-sharing service that can provide you access in ways that were never before available to you. You have a newfound freedom. Driverless cars will bring that same sort of freedom. Drone delivery. We sort of think about, well, yeah, it might be fun to have Amazon deliver my stuff, but imagine if you live in some remote rural area and you need your pharmaceutical quickly, you need your medication. You can now have drone deliver that medication to you. You don't have to wait for delivery trucks. So it really isn't just about the fun and excitement, which is great, but it's also really changing and bringing improvements to our world.
This is the MIP. It stands for Mobile Inverted Pendulum. It's essentially a Segway shrunk down using toy parts. We've taken a multi-$1,000 transportation device and turned it into a $100 toy. And it has gesture tracking abilities. It can follow your hand. It'll respond to forward, backward, left, right hand motions. These are the Rev cars. They are also on shelf right now at Target and Toys R Us and other retailers. We sell them on our website as well. And you get 2 cars in a set. They're smart cars. So you can take control of one using Bluetooth, like a smartphone or an iPod, iPad mini, something like that, and drive it around. And the other car will know where you are and seek you out and try to blast you with its invisible laser cannon, which is right up here on the front under the hood.
We wanted to create an enhanced experience, and we wanted one that most people didn't feel sick in. This is our 3D printed prototype. We've built it on a 3D printer in our garage, and cool. It's fantastic the way technology has changed. We have a pre-production version of the headsets that are a little more refined and manufactured back at our booth. But this is the functional prototype, and we have hardware that's built into the headset, battery operated, custom optics, and that's what provides the really high quality experience. The latch allows you to put your phone in with or without a case. So if consumers don't want to take their case off, they're able to still use the virtual reality headset. We also know that technology changes quite frequently. If the cell phone manufacturers were to move a camera into the middle tomorrow, we could replace the front and put on a new, it's modular, so that you can actually change this piece out based on the device. And if you want a device-specific front, we can also, in the future, be able to provide that.
Especially that first year after drivers get their license, they're 10 times more likely to get into a fatal car crash than any other time in their life.
Fatal car crash?
Fatal.
Yikes.
Yeah, definitely.
So you decided to do something about this.
Exactly. So a steering wheel cover installs just like a regular one. It's very easy to install. And it basically what happens is it has sensors around the edge to detect the position of the driver's hands. And from that, we're able to actually determine when the driver is not paying attention to the road. What it'll do is it'll give you a period of time to do anything you would normally do in the car. So take a quick break with your hand, have a quick sip, adjust your radio, AC, etc.
Right.
But after a certain period of time, it'll alert you and say, hey, at least reposition your hands so I know you're paying attention. It has red lights and a tone for when you're unsafe, and green lights to reinforce safe driving position. And then that data for those events is actually recorded on the device and then available via Bluetooth through our companion mobile app and on the cloud as well.
Tough tested manufacturers products that are heavier duty, made for workplace functionality. So when it came time for us to make audio, we think of it from a different perspective than other manufacturers. Ours is made from a workplace perspective, so it has to be extra durable. So these are made with Kevlar inside, so they're not going to break. The outside is braided, durable. They all have IP ratings for waterproofing and dust proofing. So they could be used in a work environment, in a dusty environment. These earbuds have an EPA laboratory tested rating of 23 decibels. So they qualify as hearing protection under OSHA regulations.
Oh, cool.
So if you needed to protect your ears in a factory environment or a noisy work environment, these qualify as hearing protection.
We hope you've enjoyed our video highlights of the Innovate conference here in New York City, as well as CES Unveiled. We're back in Miami and our special broadcast from Marlins Park. It's the Tiger Direct Tech Bash, and we don't want you to miss a minute of that. All 3 hours of next week's broadcast took place last week, believe it or not, at Marlins Park. We're broadcasting from the field in the stadium and talking to a whole bunch of cool exhibitors with cool products just in time for the holidays, just like CES Unveiled here as well. Be sure to check out the brand new IntoTomorrow.com and don't miss all 3 hours of this week's radio broadcast with full interviews from Innovate and CES Unveiled. On behalf of the entire Into Tomorrow team from New York City, I'm Dave Graveline. Thanks for joining us, and be sure and stay tuned. It's that time of year again. Time to think about all the tech gifts we want to give and receive this holiday season. Remember that consumer electronics is the only category where you don't have to feel guilty when you buy a device to give and one to keep. Stay tuned to our upcoming product spotlight videos, as over the next several weeks, we're going to share with you some of the latest tech stocking stuffers that we've come across and hope to give you some ideas on what you might look for the tech fans in your life. Check out our site anytime at IntoTomorrow.com and subscribe to our video podcasts so you don't miss any of our videos, including these special edition product spotlights for the holidays.